so that it won't cheat.
I just want to do some quick shout outs too. Shout out to the Scythe Core. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much for all the playtesting and the support that you guys always provide to me. And special shout outs to Timothy for the Dark Arm Dragon, getting that for me for the event. Shout out to my playtesting partner also, Nolan. Shout out to you, buddy, for getting me to play this deck a lot more. Just constantly just back and forthing with me on this deck, theorizing, and just, you know, it helped me a lot to get to where I'm at today to playing with this deck. And yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and give those shout outs for the video. So yeah, thanks guys so much. Yeah, it's been a minute since I posted my own deck profile on my own channel, but I wanted to showcase my Kashtira list that I used at the OTS Championship this past weekend, and I got second place with. And yeah, I mean, the list is pretty standardized already, but I mean, I'll just go ahead and go into depth, talk a little bit more about my choices and why I played what I played. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. We'll start off with the main deck. We have 3 Fenrir, 3 Unicorn, 2 Rice Heart, and 1 of each of these. So let's just talk about this real quick. So of course this is our standard 3 and 3, right? This is your 1 card combo. I opted to play 2 Rise Heart because I felt like having 3 was a brick. You ideally just want to search for this, so that's kind of the reason why I search or put it at 2. 1 Scarecrow Kashtira because this one actually does something. It lets you negate on Declaration, which is pretty strong. And I play the Ogre because as you can see right here, I play the preparations. It's for that reason, and another reason is because it's part of the combo that Dominic Couch mentioned for the 5 zone lock combo, and yeah, it just helps with that. So I play that in this list also. Next up, we have the supplemental traps that go with it. Of course, Big Bang and preparations. Preparation is pretty strong. It gets you recursion and it lets you extend your plays. Big Bang is of course combo piece. Spells for this, of course, we have 4 planets. I played 3 Theosis and 3 Birth. This is pretty standardized, except I was thinking of cutting this down to 2 because it is a brick when you see multiple copies of it, and you ideally, again, it's the same reasoning for Rise Heart. You want to search for it off of Unicorn. But I see its implication of playing 3. If you have 3, why not play it, right? Because it gets you to more monsters and extends your plays. So yeah, there's that. So that spell for the engine. Now for my going second cards, I decided to play 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 2 Lava Golem, and a Harpy's Feather Duster for this event. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is for brandeds, and this is like pretty flexible against like the whole meta, right? And this is again really good for the meta. So this is pretty self-explanatory, these 6. So put them to the side real quick. So my choices for this, the effect spots are these 3. I decided to opt for Lava Golem over something like Nibiru because during my testing, I found that Lava Golem was stronger than Nibiru because in the case that they decide to still zone lock you, you can still just Lava Golem their monsters away, and then they're left with this big dude that procs off all your Kashtira cards and your standby phase, right? Burn them for time. There's just so many reasons to why Lava Golem is really strong. You don't even need a normal summon in this deck, right? So this Lava Golem was ideal for me over the weekend, and also played the Harpy's Feather Duster because the Friday before the event, I went to locals and there was a unusually high amount of trap decks during that day. I felt like it was like 80% of the room was trap tricks plus labyrinth, and I just got blown out from all the traps that day. So I decided to main the Harpy's Feather Duster, and it never came up. Honestly, this could go back to the side and we'll just deal with it, right? But ideally, the more I played throughout the weekend, the more I kind of wanted this to be Nibiru because the matches that it did come up in, I did see Lava Golem. Like I played a Marincess, and I wish I had a Nibiru because they just went full combo, and of course they end on just 1 monster, so this was kind of dead. But a Nibiru would have been impactful there. And the more chance, depending on your locals, people could play into Nibiru as opposed to Lava Golem. It's the same thing. If people would end on a Rise Heart pass, this is dead anyways. So I don't know. I'd rather just go on Nibiru route and just kind of like stop them from doing whatever they need to do over the Lava Golem. But don't get me wrong, Lava Golem was pretty clutch in my top 8 match against Bright. They did the whole combo, Nibiru proofed themselves, but I did have Lava Golem to go on the next turn to knock out 2 monsters and just OTK. So there's a reason the 50-50 split. They might become Nibiru moving forward. So there's that, right? So next we have my non-engines, which is 3 Prosperities. I played 3 Lance and 3 Book of Moon. Prosperity is pretty self-explanatory. It's consistency. And my extra deck, you'll see in a little bit here what I banished off of that majority of the time. Lance is insane. I want to talk about this card a little bit. In the event that your opening hand doesn't open the 5 zone lock combo, you would ideally want to end on a Rise Heart Pass so you can play around Nibiru and Lava Golem. But the problem with that is that it tends to be pretty fragile. You could see like you could play like Ash Imperm, you know, other interruptions in your hand or set to interrupt your opponent. But ideally that setup is pretty fragile, and you would want to open with the Lance. So if I don't see the Lance in that combo, I just decide to go 3 zone lock. It's by far the worst line out of the 3, but it's better than just ending on nothing, right? Let me rephrase that. Ending on something that could easily be destroyed by like a main deck Dark Hole that people are trying to do now, or even a main deck Imperm that they just turn off your Rise Heart and you just didn't do anything, right? So I tend to realize if I don't open the Lance, I don't do the Rise Heart Pass, I'll just play into the Nib and at least have some or do something against you. So that's the reason I personally like Lance 2 either way. It does a lot of protection. It's a broken card. And I opted for 3 Book of Moon over 3 Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse tends to be ashed, and on top of that, this is most of the time enough to just kind of pass their turn. You don't want to like book your own monsters either way with Eclipse, so this has its merits. I think it overperformed this weekend, so 3 Book of Moon. 40 card main. Next we'll just go into my extra deck. We played 3 Arise Heart, 2, and 2 Shangri-La, 2 Zeus. I think I was the only Kashtira player in the room on my OTS championship, which is kind of crazy. Or I don't know. There was 19 players, and I personally didn't play into any, but I by far made the farthest. So I wanted to make sure in the mirror match I didn't want to insta lose to them just knocking out my Rise Hearts, because I think in the mirror match you'd want to just knock these out over like the Zeus. And you know your kind of like plays are kind of like mid after that, so you definitely want to play 3 if you see a lot of Kashtira in your locals. 2 Shangri-La obviously because it's part of combo and it gets you resources, and 2 Zeus because, well, it's Zeus. But I mean, the more I play this card, the more I realize like one, if they take it out, they take it out. But it just when I play, it never comes up for me. I don't know if I just don't play into a lot of Kashtira moments where I would get into Zeus, but they just completely ignore this card if you have 2, right? So it's like you don't want them to get this, you want them to get this out. So it's better of like this could have been something else. I barely went into Zeus this weekend. Okay, so those are my 2 and 3 ofs. My 1 ofs I played all these. So we have 1 Garura, 1 Mine Hacker, 1 Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon, 1 For Hire, Barone. This is MPV, the Dark Arm Dragon of Annihilation. I think she's really strong. I think shout out to Timothy for getting me one of these. 1 Mecha Panic Please Draco Sack, and 1 Big Eye. So the explanations for these is that Garura is for attachment to your Rise Heart. This part of the combo, you only need 1. This never came up, but it's for time. There's times when you can go into time. I actually did go into time in one of my matches against Branded because there was just so much ruling indiscrepancies. But this would have came up. It didn't really come. I didn't really summon it though, but it would come up in time. Ideally in this deck, you don't really go into time though, but for the off chance, you never know. Ibli and just this allows you to play Nibiru. So like I said, moving forward, this could have been taken out for this event because I didn't play Nib, but with Nib coming into my deck again probably, this is gonna definitely stay in there so I could link off the Nibiru and go in my place. Baron does something, so I just play Baron because you could just summon Ash, you know, do that combo. Like I said, this is MVP. I like this card a lot. I think this is better than the Draco Sack. This Draco Sack might become a Goliath because there was like the finals against a Scareclaw Kashtira player. He main decked Dark Hole, as you guys saw in the deck profile in my channel. Main deck Dark Hole, and that came up where if I attached a Goliath, that would have been really clutch, but I didn't have the Goliath, so this could come out. It doesn't really come up. I mean, there was a match in my locals where Skill Drain came up, but it was very mid already. I was probably losing that game anyway, so this doesn't really come up as much. and one big guy. They rip it, they rip it. So that was my extra deck. Finally, my side decks, we have 3 barrier, 3 evenly, 2, 2, 1 change of heart, and 2 and 2 lightning storm and cosmic cyclone. So let me explain these real quick. This is obviously really strong. There's this format. This one in my top 8 match against a Goaty player. I'll be uploading. It'll be on my channel. My deck profile for not my deck profile, but my opponent's top 8 Goaty deck profile that he played. And in game 3, all I did was flip D-Barrier, call Synchro, and he folded him. But ideally, yeah, with the meta, this is actually pretty good. But against like the mirror match, I don't think this is like the correct card to side in, because they can just go wide, you know, summon Unicorn, Fenrir, Scareclaw, and just kill you on 4 summons. It's very easy, especially under D-Barrier. Like, they don't need their extra deck, so this card's okay. Evenly is the best blowout card in the game, so I played 3 of that. Joel and Luck was because at my locals that I played at, I saw a lot of Dark World, so I wanted something for Dark World. And even in the mirror match, if they tend to, what do you call it? They tend to go open with a planet and their hand is kind of mid, you could just draw them, it could possibly end their turn. But most of the time, because everything's a 3 of in the deck, it doesn't really matter. So this card is kind of like, it's okay. But I wanted something for Dark World, so there's that. Never sided these in, but in theory they're really good in the mirror match. And so I played these 4 because, like I said, the Friday before the event, I played into a room full of trap decks. Unironically, the day after that in the OTS championship, I did not see a single trap deck, so these never really came in. But in theory, they're still good. You know, these are still good against like your rogue matchups, so it doesn't really affect it that much. But the side deck will definitely change moving forward. But yeah, that was my I guess second place finish, right? Second place finish for my OTS championship. Unfortunately, I couldn't win it out, but it's okay. It was a fun event.